Okay, hello everyone. My name is Tsangyu, and I am from the University of Aizu in Japan. And my topic is establishing reliable trust through user feedback and sentiment analysis for enhanced insight generation. So today I will first talk about the motivation, which is our problem, then the architecture, how the mechanism works, and then finally the conclusion and the future works. So for the problem of the fake news is that the fake news is spread very fast, and it can be quite hard to identify if the news is true or not, and if it is a fake news that misleads people, and it might cause some severe problems, including financial or physical safeties. Yeah, and in my study, I will focus mainly on Facebook, which is the main SNS software in Taiwan. Yeah. So in our study, we will split two components in my extension. The first component is for the front end, and the second one is for the back end. And for the front end, we use the Chrome extension as our tool to help the uh, user to understand the reliability of a post. And for the back end, we will use Flex Server and also PyTorch, other uh, AI or natural language processing related libraries to calculate the score. So we can see it more clearly by using a flowchart diagram. So first, there is a red part, which is the front end. You can see the user browser. And for the blue part is for the back end. And for the green part is the dependencies that uh, like the API or the domain list or other the external resources here. And for the user browser, we can see there's a gold one, which is the score badge. And also for the backend, there are mainly several factors inside the inside our server, and these factors is the key factors to identify if a news is fake or not, and also retrieve back to the user part. Yeah. For the first part is that uh, I actually collect a lot of researches from multimedia and also some fake news related paper, and I concluded that there are six main key factors that one should observe if one want to identify news is reliable or not, which is first sentiment analysis, then source domain, fact-checking results, user feedback, keyword similarity, and the key upload time. So for sentiment analysis, if a news has a really strong emotion, that it might be really likely as a fake news, since most of mainstream media has the more neutral style to express a news or information. And for the source domain, that if a news website has no SSL certificate, that it might be really like fake news because it lack of security in the website. For the user feedback, that um, since the fact-checking resource in like verify organizations might cost time, so we not just use fact-checking results, but also user feedback for the relative new informations of the this kind of news. But user feedback is not verified by the like the or the government or other reliable resources. So we put it into a lower weight, which I will explain later. For keyword similarity is that um, the good news has high similarity between title and the content. So we collect like the few of main keywords to express the content or title, and we will match if it is really likely the same. And for the finally upload time, because if a news is too old, it will be hard uh, to prove that if the news is really fake news or real news. So we can see there are the ways of how we calculate news is fake or not manually. And we can see that the biggest part is fact-checking resource, because if a fact-checking resource has a really clear verification of a news, that it might be proved and verified. And for the second part is that source domain, because uh, the website safety is really matter to the news reliability, and also the sentiment analysis. But for the lower key factors like user feedback and also upload time, is because that user feedback might not always the case, and also the upload time and new news is not actually the real news, and also old news is not always the bad news. Um, if we statistically analyze the whole media, we can see that some old news might hard to reliable than the new news. Yeah. So for our evaluation for performance, that CDTC is well known as fake news research uh, key indexes, and to compute the evaluations in traditional Chinese detections. And the data set is mainly from Taiwanese news, which is my home country, and and I think it is easier to compare to other model between among our model and other existing researches. This dataset is claim detection dataset in traditional Chinese. So we can see in the dataset that there are 5 predict and predict classes, and one is false, partially false, fact clarified, true, and lack of evidence. We can see that the main purpose to do the fake news detection is that we need to find if a news is fake, not to find the real news, which news is reliable. Yeah. So fake news matters most. So we can see also the samples of ground truths that fake news are also the most. Yeah. So as we can see that there are some existing researches about fake news. For example, in X, if the news is suspicious and reported by other customer, and then we can see that there is an additional information for the post, but it costs a lot of time to digest the link, and also to identify the relation between the post and also the link. And sometimes people would be just lazy and ignore it directly without being noticed by them. So in our research, we will just give an actual score to let people identify if a news fake or not within seconds. For example, like this, we have the Facebook post here, and we have the button. And if we click the button, it will show the reliability. For example, 80% is pretty high for the reliability. And we see also the details if one want to analyze which part of this news is suspicious. So let's get started to to demo the actual process of the extension. Let me switch the screen. Yes. So as we can see here, that this is the this is a example Facebook post. We used Yahoo News here, and we can see every post here. There's a small button here. There's a small button here, small button here, and we can click the post button, and it will show the reliability of median trust, and also here median trust, and this is relative high, and it will show the sentimental analysis results, and the domain name is pretty high, and there is no fact checking result. It's quite new, and the user feedback is also none of them, and for the similarity, 63% quite reliable. So for next part is, for example, we have the link preview. We can also click this. It will analyze it. Oh, we can see that in the sentiment analysis, it used this really strong emotion. So the reliability is pretty low. Yes. So let's jump back to the presentation, and then okay. So as we can see that this extension can let the user understand the meta information or background information of the news really easily, and also the reliability. And so if we want to test the accuracy of identifying news is true or false, we can split our score by 40 and 70. If the news is lower than 40, we just identify it as an error information, wrong information. If a score is greater than 70, we identify it as a correct information. If one is between them, two of them, we just like the lack of evidence or other verdict classes that we mentioned in earlier slides. So we can see the final results of the fake news detections is that 74.29%, and I think it's quite good. Although it's not the best or the perfect, but we have our other advantages. I will explain later. So in our evaluation study, we have 6 metrics, the subsets, which are the from 0 to 5, meaning the key factors I mentioned in previous slides. And so we can see that if we add like 2, 3, and 5, which are the keyword similarity, and also the like the emotion and other stuff, we can see that the most important part is the 5th factor, which is the keyword similarity, matters a lot. Yeah, and then the sentiment analysis, although it helps, but not really matters actually. So we can dive into our confusion matrix to see the reliability, and we can see that in our model, fake news detection is actually quite good, and to finding the reliable is actually not so easy, since we also have 2 less reliable news in our data set. And the median, there are actually a little bit low, but it is also fine. And for our reliability distribution scores, and we can see that the most of reliable news, true news are identified between 40 to 50. So maybe our model has some challenging to find the real news. Yeah, but our model has also a really good reliability to finding the fake news. So let's compare our model to other existing model. We can see to the traditional methods, our model using metadata and also background of the news has better results. But if we compare to the pure machine learning for the text itself to identify if the news is true or not, it is still a little bit lower, but acceptable. So in conclusion is that our model can quickly to show an actual score to the customers. And we have also some limitation of language because our study only focus on traditional Chinese. And finally, it achieved 74 quite acceptable score for the fake news reliability. Yeah. But as I mentioned earlier, that our study only focused on traditional Chinese and the Facebook. So since our extension is using Chrome extensions, so maybe we can extend it more to the mobile devices, for example, Android and the iOS, and also I think it's uh, not so difficult to extend our extension not just in Taiwan and Facebook, but also like the US, Germany, Japan, and other countries in the languages. And for our accuracy, I think is also uh, easily to improved by updating the user feedback and also getting more fact-checking resources. Yeah. And then that is my presentation. If you have any question, you can ask now. Thank you.